This episode is brought to you by Novilla Mattresses. When it comes to your mother, you want her sleeping in a comfortable bed. When she's with me, she won't have to worry about that because I sleep on a Novilla mattress. Let me tell you, when your mom is at my place, she is sleeping on a very comfortable mattress and she is going to get you one as well. Meet their Bliss Organic Memory Foam Mattress. Perfect for those who want a cool, dry, undisturbed sleep throughout the night, made with organic bamboo charcoal fiber, excellent motion isolation, cooling gel-infused memory foam that fits all bed frames and is reasonably priced. Perfect for if you want an inexpensive mattress for you, your children, or even for your guest room. It comes in a box delivered right to your door, and you get 100 nights to try it out. Skip that trip to the big box mattress store and get a mattress from Novilla. Throw out that cheap Walmart mattress you got in college and get yourself a mattress made by Novilla. Using promo code Schweezy or the link in our description, you can save 10% on any purchase through Novilla directly. Try out the mattress that your mom tried out last night. Again, that's 10% off using promo code Schweezy. And a reminder, when you use our links, you directly support this show. Hello, and what is going on, my fellow Schwokelords? What is up? Welcome to another episode of Cancel Schweezy. Cancel Schweezy, we're letting you know we're the Lord's trademark favorite podcast, but we also want to let you know...
Move, bitch! Get out my fucking way!
Women's.
History month!
Actually, an episode falls on the day of a holiday, and this episode of Cancel Schweezy fell on Women's History Month, and a lot of things I can say about women, but I am thankful for women, all of them. Mainly because Grandpa Joe from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is not a woman. They can never make a woman that character because all women are better than Grandpa Joe. Grandpa Joe is also the worst character to ever exist in society. And no woman is that bad. It's always men. It's always men that are bad. Shit like that. Women, here's the difference between men and women. Men will kill someone, assuming if it's like a thing they like killing. I don't know about that, but like men usually kill for sexual gratification. Women, they kill for financial reasons. So, with all that being said,
Move, bitch! Get out my fucking way!
Women's
History month!
Women's History Month, everyone. Anyways, though, welcome to Cancel Schweezy, the only podcast that is the way. Yep, new Mandalorian episodes. Right now, I record this on Mondays. The episode comes out Wednesdays. And so I've seen the first episode of The Mandalorian. Now, here's something that I played myself.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
I really kind of played myself with this. So I was getting ready to watch the new Mandalorian episode. And so I go, and when, like, it's a new episode of a big Disney Plus show, they always have, like, the banner up front. And so it's always easy to just click, like, he literally opened Disney Plus, probably click once, and you're going to watch the new episode of whatever, like, big show is out right now. And so what I go ahead and do is I click on the Mandalorian, just click immediately on it. And it starts playing the very first episode of The Mandalorian.
What?
That's right. So what I forgot is, so I've been Disney Plus subscriber since like day one. Like once they launched it, like I immediately subscribed to it because, I wanted to watch The Mandalorian. I think my dad, my dad was still alive. If you play this Cancel Schweezy drink game, you got to take a drink. And he likes Star Wars stuff too. And so he's probably one like watch Mandalorian. I think they were on, we all just like share my accounts, I don't care. It's my mom and dad. Like, I didn't really care. And so, they were watching it too, and I was, like, my only, like, literally, the funny thing is when I told them I wanted to get my parents, I'm like, hey, you probably want to watch shows on Netflix, and, like, they got onto it a little bit after most people did, and I was like, yeah, you can just use my account, so, like, it's no big deal. And I'm like, but my one rule, like, literally told my parents, my one rule for this shit is, like, we're all going to have separate profiles, all right? Do not watch anything on my profile. Because I am pretty, like, picky on that. And, like, that's not, like, no person ever is going to, like, object to that rule. It's like, but you made me my own profile? Yeah. Like, okay, that's fine. It's like no one's going to, like, fight you on that, like, depending on you make their profile, whatever. And so, like, yeah, they clearly agree with that rule or whatever and shit like that. But anyways, though, why did I start on the first episode of The Mandalorian when I've watched every episode? Well, so like I said, I was a Disney Plus subscriber from day one. And they didn't immediately have that bundle with Hulu and like ESPN Plus. Now I don't give a shit about sports, so ESPN Plus is just, I have it. But like Hulu, but I'm also paying for Hulu and Disney, and I was paying for both of them separate. And I was like, I need to pay for. I was like, why don't I just get the bundle and pay the one thing, because it's like actually less money, and that way I can have no ads on. And I did have Hulu's with ads, I was roughing it, I have Peacock with ads, but that's because it's free with my phone and I don't want to pay for another streaming service. Paying for 4, that's enough, 4 is enough. 4 streaming service, I'm paying for 4 and then I have 5. 6, because Amazon doesn't really count either. Because I'm not paying that for Amazon, for the streaming service. But yeah, no, so I switched it so I can get the bundle to save money. And so I press the Mandalorian button. It starts playing episode 1, and so I just assumed it's gonna start on the new episode because I was I'm caught up and shit like that. I'm built different. So it starts on episode 1. So it's Mando goes into a bar, and like there's the alien there that he's like getting for a bounty. He was played by like some guy, Horatio Sands. I remember, like Horatio Sands played it. I'm like, oh, that alien's back? That's weird. I thought, I didn't think things were going good for him and shit like that. I was like, okay, that's weird. Weird. It started this episode like this. Then they like get their way to his old ship. Now in season 2, it blew up, and it's been a while. I do not give a shit if you're mad if I spoiled that. But his ship got blown up in season 2, and he got a new one during the Book of Boba Fett. For like 2 episodes. They were his episodes. So like, yeah, and then he goes to his ship. I'm like, oh, he has his old ship back? I'm like, is this a flashback or something? And like, he kept nagging Horatio Sands. I'm like, wait a minute. Isn't this the first episode? Well, he freezes Horatio Sands in carbonite. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is the first episode of the series. Like, this was the idea of like how like badass his fucking character was. Like, they had to show that off the very first second. And I'm like, Mom, I was watching, my mom wanted to watch it too, so I was watching it. I picked the very first episode of the show. I'm like, I really played myself.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
DJ Khaled, thank you. Thank you for letting me know. But, yeah, anyways, have y'all been seeing, okay, if you're on TikTok, you've been seeing, it's like, someone like do AI generated voices, so, I'll get into how they make it in a second, but like of Trump, Biden, and Obama like playing games together. I'm like, that shit is just fucking cracking me up, and I feel like that's normie humor, but it's so fucking funny because like the scripts that they're writing for these characters are way too good and way too accurate, and like they like you get the personality types and shit like that, and like it's like, Biden, Sleepy Joe, why the fuck would you do something like that? And then Biden was, well, fuck you, Donald. It's just like, the timing's perfect too. And it's just perfect. So like the creators behind it, they just fucking know comedy. It's a good comedy brand and stuff like that. And I assure you, I've been watching YouTube videos at this point of like, just like, actual like, all right guys, we're doing a play, let's play right now. It's just those 3. It's like Game Grumps, but like 3 people you don't expect. How they do it is like you can find websites that make AI generated voices. If you were watching me on TikTok forever ago, you're gorge, it's Daddy Goofy. This full episode of Cancel Schweezy's out now. I just found it on a website and altered it in. So they do that. And like basically for them to like have a character for you to use, like Tom Hanks has been in a lot of movies, so you have like good clear audio of Tom Hanks. So that works. Why it's president, so they give speeches all the time with crystal clear audio. And so, they take that and they do the AI shit. And that's how, I don't know how you actually make it, but I do know what it requires for you to make it. They made Joe Rogan, like, they can make a full Joe Rogan podcast just out of AI. If you don't count for video, if it's just audio, like, that's already possible. The reason is there's so much good recorded audio of Joe Rogan speaking. Like they're like for me. And like that's something I kind of have to worry about. I'm like, someone could just easily make an AI me. And like there's so much good, clear audio of me talking, like it's not gonna be hard for them to like fake that. Like and also it's gonna be hard for me to confirm it because I say a lot of shit that I don't remember. So if you're giving a president, you're giving speeches all the times and giving conferences or whatever. So you got a lot of good audio there. Joe Rogan, obviously, Ben Shapiro, he has a podcast too. That's why you're seeing so many of them, is just because there's so much audio of them. Like they don't really have to worry about it. If like they want to sound a little angry, they can kind of get it too, because they got so much recorded audio of it. So that's amazing. I just wanted you to know that for all the fucking nerds listening to this show.
This is the type of guy you get.
So if you wanted to know from someone who understands audio and how sound works, that's true. If you like music, you should go check out Schweezy wherever you stream music at. I don't need to explain which ones. You know which one you stream at. Should be on all of them. We also have my social medias at TheSchweezy everywhere. Just like twitch.tv/TheSchweezy. I've been playing Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap. That's been a lot of fun. So I think I'm going to do a shrine. I don't know what I'm going to do each stream, but I don't think it's that long of a game. But I think I can play it and enjoy myself. So I'm not too worried about that. So definitely go check out twitch.tv/TheSchweezy. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can connect it to your Twitch account to subscribe to someone on Twitch. Following someone's free, but to subscribe to them, it costs around usually $5. But with your Amazon Prime, it's already free. So yeah, help out your daddy. We also have a Patreon page, which is a great way to say thank you for being a friend. Basically it's a tip jar and help me out. But I also, if you watch our clips now, it's going to end with thank you for watching this clip. I made that, and it's so super fucking funny. But don't forget the free shit you can do. Make sure if you're an audio-only listener, go to our YouTube page. Make sure you're checking out that shit. We have our highlights that end with thank you for watching this clip. And that way you can watch that clip and shit like that. And we have clips that way you can share them with your friends too. Just share them with everyone. Yeah, you know.
I like that.
And make sure you're subscribing to the show. We're trying to get more infiltrating algorithms over on YouTube. We need your subscribe. We're trying to get to a partner program so we can generate a little bit more money on this show. That way we make a better show. More money. The more money a show has, the better quality it's going to be. We do this show on a rock bottom budget, and imagine if we had more of a budget for the show. So go check that out. If you're on the audio platforms, give us a 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1 star rating, and leave us a review.
I like that.
Anyways, though, last week I made a comment about how I said, like, isn't it kind of a good thing Superman was white? And I don't mean like a good thing, like if he was black he'd be a terrorist or whatever. But like in like how many people would fucking freak out about a black man like that? Like they got that. That's in the Luke Cage Netflix series. Like that's like the one thing I got right about. It's just like cops shooting him all the time, and he's like, I'm bulletproof, you know. And it's
come on, Mark, don't be stingy.
the way it is. So I said, what if Superman is black? Now, I did think about it. I did think about this too, and I just wanted to bring it up. There is a black Batman. It's Timothy Jace Fox. I haven't really read any of his stories. I should probably read some of the stories, but none of this matters with the stories. But it's a black Batman, and shit like that. And I think he became Batman when Bruce Wayne died. I think it's like a legacy type of character, like that. Like I said, I haven't read any of the comics though. But one thing I did notice, in comparison, now Bruce Wayne, he's famous for wearing the cowl, and it's like, It's like, oh, you're protecting, and all these new suits are like, oh, he's bulletproof, and then you think about it, it's like, his mouth is just unguarded and shit like that. That's what the weirdest thing about watching, like, the Batman, Robert Pattinson's Batman, is that, like, he was, like, basically bulletproof, and I'm like, that's a lot of guns, like, some of them are going to hit the face. Like, it's lucky that, like, or like getting the side of the head, I could see that make up a reason why. But like the mouth area, someone's got to hit that at some point. Like, for like someone's got it. So, but like people were like, why does he have the cowl? He's like, oh, so cops know he's white, so they don't shoot him and think he's the criminal and shit like that. And that's a big debate, in Hollywood, in superhero movies. Like, that's why Black Panther was such a big deal, because that's a black superhero has never been represented well. It has been. It has, but like as the titular character of the series, and stuff like that. And so, like, it's a big deal. So, yeah, Black Batman, that's pretty cool. Timothy Jace Fox. I don't know if he goes by Jace or Timothy or Tim. Like I said, I'm not read any of the stories. But I do know that Batman covers his whole body. No skin is showing at all. So Bruce Wayne, white, rich guy, shows his face, lets everyone know, hey, I'm white. I'm here to save you. Timothy J. Fox, everything's covered, like Spider-Man. Like, the idea of Spider-Man, and I think they kind of mentioned that. Stan Lee's always had that idea, maybe in an afterthought, but, like, the always idea of Spider-Man is, like, his everything's covered. Like, there's no skin showing. Like, that way, like, secret identity and shit like that. Like, Spider-Man could be a black kid. Like, he's in Queens. Like, he could be a black kid helping out, and then, Miles Morales is the black kid. And shit like that. I was like that. And that's why, like, maybe Spider-Man's a divisive character because people don't know what skin color he is under that shit, But yeah, this Batman, he covers everything. But like, no cowl. Like, do not know what race he is. Maybe it's the old Batman, but he's got like a cover on his face now, I just thought that was funny, Why does Black Batman have to cover his skin, but White Batman doesn't, Stuff to think about, stuff to ponder on.
Oh my gosh, so deep. I fucking love it.
That was fucking perfect. Previous week right now, that's our new the next segment we're going into. Previous week right now, it's basically just the news from last week. I don't think I need to be going on and 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 on. Well, not fucking, no, don't fucking doing fucking Fred Durst. Limp Bizkit, god damn it. Anyways, we're going over news I saw last week, and that we will be going over right now. So, yeah. This one is from, give me a second though. I think my mom lost her phone, and she doesn't have an iPhone, so no one can help her. Real quick, and I can't do it from my iPad. All right, Mom's out of luck. How did she text me? Can you call me? Wait. I am so confused right now. So anyway, I'm moving on. Okay, anyways, here's the news. Let's just get into it. That was a fucking weird thing.
That's rough, buddy.
I can't call her right now. She knows I'm recording. All right. This is from MSN. Did you know MSN was still a thing? That's honestly the biggest news of this podcast this week. Did you know MSN is still a thing? Fucking sending tech. I mean, yeah, okay, never mind. Mom who said women on maternity leave are lazy wins thousands of fans. A mom has caused a stir after saying women who go on maternity leave are lazy and should hit the gym as soon as possible after giving birth, and thousands agree with her. Jalen Cox from Glasgow welcomed her second daughter earlier this month and was keen to get back to her job as an exotic dancer where she earns up to $1,400 a night. The 29-year-old, who is also an OnlyFans model, claimed sitting around at home would lead her to putting on weight and becoming depressed and go back at work just 5 days after giving birth. Jalen told The Sun moms should hit the gym the week after giving birth, and dieting is a must. The mom of two stern message to new mothers has been circulating online, and while many think it's controversial, thousands have backed her, saying she is absolutely correct. Others called her brave, inspiring, and impressive, while some moms shared their experiences getting back to work after having a baby. However, the support for Jalen has met with backlash, as many women pointed out lots of new mums, it's a fucking British thing, want to spend time with their babies, and staying at home looking after kids is a tough job in itself. Jalen says she didn't want to waste time sitting at home when she could be earning hundreds at the club and getting her pre-baby body back. So this is an article.
What?
So basically, before I go into anything, I do have to make a statement saying, I'm a man, I have a penis, I'm a penis haver, I'll never be able to give birth, so I never know. I've had big dumps before, and I've passed multiple kidney stones. So there's my, if anything, understanding, it's that. So we're talking about this idea of maternity leave. Let's, and I want to assume, she said, oh, she's from Glasgow, so it's from, that's Europe. Don't ask me where in Europe. Shut the fuck up if you're judging me. So we're talking about Europe, so they probably have their healthcare's fine. Let's assume healthcare is not a problem. You give birth to a baby. What do you want to do? And and then I'm generally thinking, I think if I was a woman and I gave birth to a baby, first of all, I'd probably need a couple days to recover, but then you have the baby now, and so you're trying to keep a newborn alive and figure that shit out, and it's a good, when it's a good time, like just focus on the baby. I'm a guy, and I do think men should get maternity leave too. If they're like, we have to compromise, like you can't get as much as women, and I'm like, actually, I think men should have more time on maternity leave than women. That's fucking
What?
no, and so if you're just like given the choice, you can do that. You don't have to come back to work or whatever. It's very interesting. Now, I can understand, as a job, when it's your job to, unless it's like an acting role, I'd maybe an acting role. You just got to figure it out. But depending on your job, if part of your job really requires you to be in good shape, like if she just gets fatter and fatter, I could really understand that. So the exercise part, I can really understand. If you really want to, but I don't know. It's like spending time with your baby. It's it's just it's a weird situation. Like given the choice, I'm like, yeah, I think women should choose. Like they shouldn't be forced to go on maternity leave. It's just weird. But yeah, and I assume not all giving birth situations are the same. Sometimes there's complications for one or the other and shit like that. The only thing I can really say is like if this woman wants to do it, it's fine, but it shouldn't be like all moms can do this. I'm like, not all pregnancies are whoop-de-doo. Some women have orgasms during pregnancy, and I just want to say though, I learned that. I told Josh Casey, author of Track and Desire, A Journey After Swallowtail Kites, I told him that, and he says, you didn't know that? I'm like, what? That's why he's a fucking liar. He'll just like pretend, like anytime like you say like, yeah, I just recently learned that the reason why this, and the only one he's ever been like, you didn't know that, and I swear to God, like he fucking lied about that. Like, you didn't know women could have an orgasm while giving birth. I'm like, there's like a 5% chance you actually knew that. The only time I got him was blowjob, and blowjob. Why they call it a blowjob? It's not because you're blowing. It's because it's below the waist job. It's below, and below sounds like blowjob, and I guess that's why people call it that. It's funny. So, women, I think you should have maternity leave. Honestly, I actually prefer maternity leave. I like to have maternity leave without like the baby, so it's like guilt-free time off. It's like perfect. It's like you're taking time off, but you don't have a baby, and it's like, oh yeah, I got time off for health. It's like, this is the health. Like, this is the health I wanted. You get the best of both worlds. Chill it out, take it slow. Then you rock out the show. Anyways, let's move on. I want to see what else is going on here. Chris Rock says he watched Will Smith's latest film, Emancipation, to see him get whipped. This is from Insider, if anyone knows. Nearly a year after Slapgate, fallout from the incident continues. Comedian Chris Rock took the stage at Baltimore's Hippodrome Theater on February 17th to deliver some caustic new jokes about Will Smith, the Baltimore Sun first reported. The material is the latest drama between Rock and Smith, which started when Smith slapped the comedian during the 2022 Oscars. The other day, I watched Emancipation just so I could watch him getting whipped, Rock reported said, referring to the 2022 film in which Oscar stars as a slave named Peter who fled a Louisiana plantation. Rock's reported comments were made during his Ego Death World Tour. According to the New York Post, Rock had been testing new material in the lead up to his Netflix special, Chris Rock's Selective Outrage, which will be the platform's first ever live stream program. It airs Saturday, March 4th at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. The special's title itself appears to be a reference to Smith. Per Insider, Rock told the crowd at his Baltimore show that Will Smith practices selective outrage and that people who are in the know that shit has nothing to do with me. Representatives for Rock did not immediately respond to Insider's request for comment. Smith has said that the slap, which happened after Rock joked about Jada Pinkett Smith's bald head, was a result of bottled up rage. While Smith issued an apology to Rock in a YouTube video posted in July, Rock hasn't released a formal statement regarding the incident, and people are speculating that he's saving the bulk of his commentary for the upcoming Netflix special. I think the special is dropped. I do think that, yeah, hold on. Okay. I just look at, it was something kind of important. Yeah, so, this is a funny feud because I don't feel like, it's like the negativity of like, fuck that guy. But it's also like, you run into him, you're like, hey man, let's just not talk. This is weird, Like, you don't like, I don't know, it's hard, like, I don't like people. There's people I don't like and shit like that, but I don't want to. I actually would never. That's really dark to me. I was like, I would never kill anyone. I would make them suffer. I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's dark. Anyways, though, so it's like fun, shit like that. It's like I don't think like Chris Rock is like, I want to fuck that guy. I think he's, for the most part, he's probably like, yeah, fuck him. But if you run into him, like, yeah. Thanks for apologizing. It's like weird, but like, yeah, watching him get whipped was probably fun. I totally agree with him. Like he definitely had to have fun when watching that. So yeah, I think the Netflix special is on. I think it's up. But anyways, yeah, I heard just from people who went to his live shows they were talking about how he talked about it, and a lot of live shows they could be like working through it. I have it perfect, but I just kind of have to see what happens, change it a little bit, Comedy's one hell of a drug, if you want to know. But yeah, no. But I really don't think Jada Pinkett Smith is worth it. Like, they peak COVID, like they had a fucking, it was like an interview podcast video type thing, and she was like, yeah, we were in an entanglement, and like she admitted cheating on him, and just like fuck, I don't, like, this chick is not, like, I understand this chick is like, I cheated on him. It's like, yeah, I'm just around to fuck you, and like nothing else at this point. Like, that's not a woman worth defending. It's like, are you gonna let those guys talk to me that way? I'm like, yes, I am. Like, yes, I am. I'm gonna let them talk to you that way because I can't talk to you that way. That's the reason I'm gonna let them talk to you that way. I won't let you get hurt, but I'm gonna let them talk to you that way. Like, that's what we're doing. I just don't think she's worth it, Will. I mean, your kids are grown. You could have a thing. You could really get your own thing going. But yeah, don't assault anyone anymore. Did you do it for attention? Because that's not the rage I would have for your wife. Just saying. Like, your wife is like not worth defending like that. I would let anyone talk to you that way. Keep your wife's name out my fucking mouth. I love that fucking jam Hen Dog did on it. Check out Hen Dog. He's my favorite producer. If you like producer, if you get that term, like there's like producer like was it Rick Rubin, and then there's like producers like Hen Dog, and it's producers like Hen Dog, and he's the fucking goat. I wish everyone knew Hen Dog was the fucking goat. And we follow each other on Instagram. I wonder if he sees this podcast, listens to it. That's for you, Hen Dog. I truly believe it. I believe that shit with all my heart. Last article we got. Let's get in.
Let's just jump into it.
Forgot to say it. Podcast hosts say pores use washcloths in the shower, and they've ended friendships over it. This is from Your Tango. I almost had 2 Your Tango articles. I'm like, I have to cut this one. If you are going to do a live broadcast once a week talking about various topics with millions of people turning to listen, you should probably make sure that you are educated on said topic. Listeners will be quick to notice you spewing ignorant comments in subjects you did not research beforehand. 2 podcasters recently came under fire on Twitter after sharing their beliefs, and those who use washcloths in the shower, and it has sparked a debate in cleaning habits and hygiene. The podcaster claimed that only poor people use washcloths in the shower. Tom Segura and Christina Pajitsky have been married since 2008 and are the founders of YMH Studios. Every week, millions of people of all races, religions, numerous genders, varying criminal records, and disgusting fetishes tune in from every continent around the world to share a laugh with Tom, Christina, Bart, Danny, Dr. Drew, Garth, and all of the fascinating, unpredictable, and very funny people who are friends with them, the website reads. One of their most recent conversations had many people raising their eyebrows and calling out the people for being uneducated about the matter. Tom and Christina were discussing showering habits and believed that using a washcloth in the shower was only a method used by poor people. I think the washcloth is a poor person thing, Christina said. I've only met poors who use them, her husband agrees. The two then speculated if using a washcloth in the shower may actually be an exclusively European tradition. I have European friends who use them as well, Christina says, to which Tom replies, maybe they're poor. Tom feels so passionately about the matter that he claims to have ended friendships with those who use washcloths in the shower. I don't want that stink on me, like that poor stink, he says. Christina suggested that people use washcloths to avoid touching their hands to their genitals. The controversial discussion has fired up many internet users who point out that the couple's statement were classist and inaccurate. How is it that every 8 weeks or so, white people get together and admit that they don't wash their bodies and make us witnesses? Twitter user @medium-sized-meat shared, posting the short clip in question. Other users debated whether or not using a washcloth was hygienic. I would wash my body without a filthy, bacteria-covered rag. One user who is against washcloths shared, not using a washcloth doesn't mean you don't wash your body, another user pointed out. Otherwise, we're in favor of using washcloths. If washcloths are dirty, why do hospitals use them on patients? Last I checked, they prefer things to be as sterile as possible, one user pointed out. Just say y'all don't like washing y'all's ass, they censored ass, and then leave the rest of us out of it. I bought a scrub brush and washcloth before surgery because I knew I would have trouble reaching my feet, and it was a game changer, another user revealed. Experts say that using a washcloth in the shower is beneficial, but you should always use a new one every shower. Used washcloths are a breeding ground for bacteria due to the dampness and the moisture. It is also safe and effective not to use washcloths at all, using just body wash instead. Summarize, do whatever you want in the shower and don't let people shame you for it. Who knew that 2 comedians could be criticizing the non-wealthy and wind up starting a war on washcloth culture? So, yeah, if you don't know Your Mom's House, YMH, Tom, Christina, and Christina Pajitsky, my favorite podcast of all time. My favorite just fucking show of all time. Like, I get excited every week. Like, a highlight of my week is their show. And I hope a highlight of your week is my show. That's all I really care about. And so, yeah, I remember, I watch the show every week, every Wednesday. I end up watching the show. Like, even if I don't know the guest, I prefer when they don't do a guest, because I think that when they don't have a guest, it's just Tom and Christina debating nonsense topics, which I just fucking love nonsense. And so when they have a person there who's not like a regular, like it's not as funny, it's like an interview, it's like, it's okay, but like, show the TikToks, show the fucking dark TikToks. So, yeah, this debate came up, and so my nonsense, I'm like, do I know anyone who uses a washcloth? And I'm like, my first thought wasn't poor people use washcloths. Like, that was never, like, a poor people thing, because, like, I'm not rich, but I'm not poor either. I'm like middle. I grew up middle class for the most part, like old middle class. If we want to talk about that. I either use soap straight on my body or I used washcloth hands in. Sometimes I get a loofah. You know, the loofah's nice too. I'd use a loofah before I use I've never used a washcloth. And, you know, it's a weird thing because, you know, like sometimes you grew up white and some people grew up black. And like you grew up around black people, you grew up around white people. That's the thing. So thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, I've never had a washcloth in, but like a lot of black friends are like, where's your washcloth? How do you clean yourself, you know? And like, I love the fact in this article, they're like, oh, some of y'all just admitting you don't wash your bodies. I'm like, yeah, we don't wash our bodies with a washcloth. I'm like, now you're like, yeah, and that's always been my problem because it's like, you have to use a new one each time. I'm like, you're gonna use one a couple times. Like, okay, I'm just like, we're talking about poor people using washcloths, you know? Do you think poor people are changing the washcloth? No, they're not. They're not changing that shit. They're using it for worst case. They're using it for a week and then they're gonna wash it and then maybe they're gonna make that last as long as they can before it kind of gets gross, like and shit like that. You know, I'm a big fan of the loofah. You know, a loofah's really nice, but between a washcloth and just use my hands, I'm like, I'm just gonna use my fucking hands. If it's a bar of soap, then you know it's like it's already there. You're not gonna eat. Unless you can't hold on to the bar of soap and you're in prison, like, I don't think you need to be using a washcloth, you know, to clean yourself. Like, use your hands, use a loofah, or use the bar of soap. You don't need a washcloth. The washcloth, I mean, yeah, like I said, hygienically, like, you have to use a new one each time. The poors are not doing that. And and I identify with the poors, but that's a level I won't go. Washcloth to clean myself. I'm not gonna go that far. But yeah, no, I've always heard of like more black people than like that's a black people thing. But I would rather go with the poors and not black people because I know a lot of black people who are smart enough to not use a washcloth, and that's what I want to see in society. The washcloth is useless, and I think we should decide that we are better than that. Let's go away with the washcloth forever. Have you ever been out in public and thought, hey, look at that fat guy, only for it to turn out to be a mirror and you are in fact the fat guy? That was the moment that kickstarted me into becoming the greatest health expert the world has ever seen. But I wasn't born being built different. Like Joe Cocker before me, I get by with a little help from my friends. And my friends happen to be today's sponsor, FNX Fitness. FNX Fitness is committed to creating innovative supplements of the highest quality that provide focus for a productive morning, energy to thrive all day, performance supplements to reach new goals, unique sleep and recovery formulas to support any sport, and healthy supplements to support an active lifestyle for years to come. I also really enjoy their clothing line that makes you look good while you work out as well. Another thing I love about FNX Fitness is that with every purchase, they donate a gallon of water to a child in need. Start working out smarter, not harder, by using the link in our description today. You can save 15% on your purchase. Go save 15% on some of the best supplements out there when using the link in our description. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show. When you're at the beach, you aren't going there naked, letting everyone see your little shrunken PP from being in the water. No, you're wearing some sort of clothing to cover up your privates. So why would you let companies you buy products from have access to the privates of your credit cards? That's where today's sponsor, Privacy, becomes the clothing for your credit card information. Privacy is the first payment product that keeps your personal information private while being even more convenient than using a physical payment card online. Privacy empowers you to protect your physical card information. Each merchant you share your card information with puts you more at risk to hackers or data breaches. Why not use a privacy card instead? By creating a virtual card with privacy for each merchant you shop with, your physical card is safe and secure. Privacy cards can be paused or closed at any time, preventing any future transactions from being authorized. Privacy cards can also be single-use, meaning they close after just one authorized transaction. One of my favorite ways to use privacy is for a service with a free trial that requires you to put in a credit card to sign up. But wait, there's more. By using the link in our description, you can get $5 to spend anywhere. That's money you get to use. So start paying the smart way with Privacy. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show.
Because the brownie.
Apparently, I watched. This isn't like. What intro am I going with? Okay. Anyways, though, I realized I've been trying to chase this feeling, and here's how I'm describing this feeling to you. This feeling I've been chasing. The feeling I've been chasing is me when I was a kid. I grew up in a town of like 1,000 people. It's just a very, very small town. And one of the gas stations you were able to rent movies at. I think they even were into like when DVDs first started, people were renting those. So like that, going to the movie store, going to that gas station to look and rent a movie, and you could smoke in that gas station at the time. I think now they have a rule that they can't, in that town, that you can't smoke inside, but at the time it was optional. It was basically like, you can if you want to. People would just sit around, talk, and smoke cigarettes inside a gas station. It's weird, I know. But like you go up there, and the feeling I'm chasing is those movies that always look like so much fun. Like, like you'd watch, but like I was a kid at the time. So like my mom's not going to be fucking renting American Pie or Dude, Where's My Car? And shit like that. So I'm chasing that feeling of going to, that gas station where we used to rent movies. And like, I don't know. I'm just chasing that feeling. And it was like a good time in life. I think it was either before or right after 9/11, before we really developed how sad the world is. I'm just chasing that feeling. Okay, all I'm doing is I'm chasing that feeling. Anyways, though, one of the movies, I'd always see, that makes me feel that way, or like when I look at it, like it makes me feel that way because I just see the movie cover. Like that's the nice thing about if you like miss Blockbuster or whatever. You miss like those movie covers and like going to the movie store and like, I'm gonna watch this tonight. Because now it's like sitting on your couch, like browsing Netflix and stuff like that. And it's definitely a better option, but that feeling is gone. One of them, was American Pie. Like those movies, like clearly I watched the rated R versions of all of them. So in each film, I think there's titties, a little dick. I think I only saw dick in the last one. No, it was either American Wedding. No, it was American Reunion, where like Jim covered, like Jason Biggs covered his dick, and we all got to see Jason Biggs' dick. And guess what? It looks pretty good soft. I'm just saying, I'm like, that's a solid dick soft, because my dick soft is the saddest thing. And like I'm like over body problems and shit like that with my own body. It's like I look at myself, I'm like, I need to lose weight, and like you either need to do that or just feel bad for being fat. Don't be mad at other people and shit like that. But my dick though, like the problem with me like going full nudist or even wanting to go to a nude beach to begin with, it's just because my soft dick is very sad. It's actually probably fine for like day-to-day use when you don't need to be hard. Like that's the thing though, like your soft dick, the qualifications for your soft dick need to be, for me, going about my day, and then your hard dick needs to be like going about things and shit like that. And so my soft dick, good for valuable use, not good for being naked in front of people because it's just sad in front of people, And fellas, it's okay if your soft dick looks sad and your hard dick's all right, My hard dick's all right, and then my soft dick's like sad. But women don't care about that. That's a long story short saying, I watched the American Pie movies, and I just kind of want to talk about them. I didn't watch the American Pie Presents movies. Those movies do not look like I want to watch them. Like I watched Van Wilder last night. I'm like, I'm not going to watch the 2 sequels or whatever. I'm not going to watch The Rise of Taj because I saw one Reddit post. It was like the worst movie I've ever watched in my life. And I love Kal Penn, but I'm not going to... him playing a stereotypical Indian, I don't want to watch that. So I talked about chasing that feeling. But anyways, it was good in the first movie. The first movie, we watched, like, the idea of the first movie and what set this whole franchise off was that, hey, we got a couple guys. I think 5 guys. So we got Oz, we got Jim, we got Finch, we got the guy who fucks Tara Reid. I did not get his name. I just forgot it. I didn't remember it. But he was like, yeah, he the first movie you're like, maybe he doesn't deserve that. And the second movie he's like, yeah, he looks like the very much type of guy to be with a girl who looks like that, And then Finch, Oz, Jim, and Stifler. Stifler's a funny character. But like the first movie was like all of them like, we're gonna lose our virginities before we go to college, senior year of high school and shit like that, And then, Finch and Stifler have their rivalry, which is probably the best part of like all these films, like for real. The problem with the first movie, and why it's probably not my favorite of all of them is there's a scene. Okay, so Jim is gonna help a foreign exchange student who's hot, played by Shannon Elizabeth. She played the girl Kelso knocked up in that '70s show, and I never watched these movies before, and I was like, oh, I get to see her tits. Like, that's pretty fucking awesome. Anyways, though, but the idea is like, oh, they set up his webcam so when she changes at his place, they can all watch on a webcam stream, and then Jim comes over, tries to have sex, and it's a weird thing. And, the thing is, like, I love, if a woman wants to send me a picture of her tits with her, I want the face involved. I don't want to see, like, I hate it when it's, like, no face, because I'm like, I need to know who the person behind this is, and shit like that. But, like, a picture of some titties, a nude, a fella would not be opposed to that. However, it's like the idea of, like, the woman wanted to send that to the man that I want. This whole webcam thing was non-consensual. I'm like, they set it off as, like, oh, Jim's embarrassed of the whole thing, and shit like that, but, like, they never really go through, like, Nadia's, like, whole portion of the whole thing. And, yeah, that was pretty bad. Like, the whole webcam thing, I'm like, it really, like, and you think, like, oh, something, jokes that don't age well. It's like, oh, you made it like like in the third one, American Wedding, they went to a gay bar accidentally or whatever. And, like, a trans woman was like, hey, with, like, the deepest voice you've ever heard. It's, like, jokes that don't age well. I love movies where it doesn't age well. Like, that's my favorite genre of movie. But, yeah, that the webcam scene did not age well. Like, it really kind of bummed me out because I'm like, this is kind of funny, but it's also, I'm like, this is so bad. Like, just on the internet, if it was just his friends watching, I'd be okay. But it's like, you posted this online, and, like, it was 1999, and that's when the movie came out, and so you have to assume they filmed it before that. So the internet wasn't, like, it was, like, 180p, like 10 pixels a screen, or whatever. But still, it just, even that to me, like, I was, I'm watching it, and you're like, oh, you got the Nadia, and you're just like, oh, you might be able to have sex with her. I'm like, all right, unplug the webcam, figure out just some situation. He got close with, like, throwing the shirt on it, but it just so upsets me. I'm like, I would never want. I was like, would I start a porno? I'm like, I don't know. I did like a chick who's like, oh, just film me sucking your dick on an OnlyFans, but no one's going to know it's you. I'm like, that's fine. I'll do that shit. But, like, being the star of it, like, I don't want to, like, pornos where you get to see the guy's face. I'm like, I don't want to see that, Like, porn is for men for the most part, like, most porn is for men. The POV shot is probably the best thing for men. And so what I say, yeah. So I'm ranking all of them. The first American Pie, it's great. Just a great coming of age comedy. It's just a solid film. But honestly, I wouldn't have to say the second American Pie film was probably my favorite of all of them. Because it's like college, and I feel like I'm maybe, like, because, like, you're in college and it's like that, and then there's like your adult life and you're like that. And then, you're living your adult life single and shit like that. But, like, there isn't much of a difference between adult life single and college single, kind of ways, until you, like, get, like, married and settled, marriage and shit like that. That's, like, a whole different thing. Or even, like, moving in together. But, like, this one's like, oh, we're going to, like, a house all summer for just us guys. We're gonna work a job, shit like that. And like I love friendship movies, you know, like Kumar, what's it like Alan Kumar? Yeah, they go to White Castle. And like that's just like two friends doing shit. I love friend comedies, you know, those are my favorite. And so that's what this was like a friend comedy, and that's what's great. It's like the comedic moments. Like Finch was like, "Oh, I've slept with a lot of girls in the past year, but none of them are as good as Stifler's mom." And like the whole fucking Stifler's mom is a whole other thing I'm gonna get to in a moment, but I'm gonna get to that when I go into all my other thoughts on it. But that's why I love that, and you know, and like Jim realized, I'm like, oh, like Nadia's like, I'm gonna come visit you, and he's like, I gotta learn how to do sex, and then he tries to practice with Michelle, then he realizes, I'm like, oh, I love Michelle all along. I'm like, that's just fucking heartwarming. That's like, you know, if like the romantic comedy is what you why you should enjoy and get like a dopamine rush from watching a romantic comedy. That's the reason you watch that shit, and that's what I just fucking love about it. And American Pie 2. So I think American Pie 2 is probably my favorite out of all of them. American Wedding, I think was good, but I think it went from like raunchy comedy to like romantic comedy with this film. First of all, Oz was missing, and you know, Vicky and Heather weren't there. Like those are the other girlfriends and shit like that from some of the other guys. But when it's like your boy and it's your wedding, like it's just like they didn't really explain it well. And then in the, you know, the fourth film when Oz came back, but like just, you know, I don't like that. I don't like that shit. You know. Like, there's my boys who I don't see ever. Like, I'm going to see one soon. And, you know, like, another one of my boys who I will probably make a groomsman if if hell freezes over and I ever get married. And, like, you know, I haven't seen him since my dad's funeral. The other one, he's in the military. I haven't seen him. I'm going to see him soon. And shit like that. And, yeah, you know, like, I made an effort to go to their weddings, and I'm like, I would make an effort again, probably for the second ones too, if they ever got it. And I know they'll make an effort for mine. So that's, you know, that's just fucking weird. But it's like also just like a standard romantic comedy where like some raunchy shit gets in there, you know. And I think, you know, yeah, you know, this film was good though. I don't hate any of these films. I love all these films. Like I've recently learned that like this is another franchise I just fucking love, and I'm probably gonna rewatch a lot in my days to come. Like I just watched them for the first time, so that's probably saying something. Let's get to American Reunion. American Reunion. It came out in 2012, which we're you know basically 11 years ago. I graduated high school in 2012. That's my high school year, and yeah, that's when this movie came out. And so like I just really missed it. So it's like 10 years from it, you know, and like they need another American Pie movie. I want another American Pie movie as long as they get like the character dumb situations right. Like it doesn't even matter if it's a good story. Like that's the problem. Like I will fucking love this shit. It's basically like their 13-year reunion because they missed their 10 and they're trying to get it put together or whatever. And so basically, yeah, they staged it under a high school reunion and shit like that. So you get like they got everyone back, like except for like Jim's mom, who either didn't want to do the movie or passed away but they made it like Jim's dad was a widower and shit like that. So you know, you got to watch the movie. He hooks up with Stifler's mom, so you can't hate him and shit like that. But they got everyone back. Some people don't like this film, and I'm like, yeah, if you didn't watch any of the other three films, you know, especially if you didn't watch the first two, like you're probably not going to be into this film, you know. Like if you're not a fan of the franchise, you're probably just not going to walk into it and like it. But fans of the franchise like it. You know, it's like Anchorman 2. Like Anchorman's clearly better than Anchorman 2. And I think what Anchorman 2 did was like, hey, if you like the first one, you're going to really like this other one. Like, we're not going to overshadow that first one, but we're going to also make this like a movie that you do not hate. And so I love that. And so let's get into all my thoughts on other thoughts I had on the movie. I think Finch is my hero. If you don't know, the first movie, Finch fucked Stifler's mom, played by Jennifer Coolidge. And I have to say, anyone who has had sex with Jennifer Coolidge, even if it was in a movie or a show, a TV show, it counts, or in real life, you are my goddamn hero. The fact that you got to, do with fucking Jennifer Coolidge. Like, it's like I could get married and my biggest regret and be like, I never want to have sex with anyone ever again. Besides Jennifer Coolidge. I have not seen White Lotus yet, so if something does not make her hot, don't tell me that. But she's the ultimate MILF. And she talked about, forever ago, like, it really helped my sex life. I'm like, it should. You're a goddamn goddess, Jennifer Coolidge. Keep me in your thoughts, please. Maybe your prayers too, but maybe your thoughts for the most part. But yeah, fucking anyone who has had sex in film or real life with Jennifer Coolidge is my hero. So Finch is I just fucking love him. I want to turn into Finch, and for a while I thought I was going that way, but I think I'm turning into fucking Stifler. Like, I really think I'm turning into fucking Stifler. The biggest thing is, like, I run into my friends during a meetup after forever, and shit like that. And they don't invite me, but I don't think I'm not at that place in my life yet. So, yeah. So I don't want to, say, but I am probably turning into Stifler. I probably am Stifler, to be honest with you. I want to be Finch, but I think I'm Stifler at the very end. But either way, you get to fuck someone's mom, because what does Stifler fuck Finch's mom in American Reunion? And I'm like, oh my God, that's so fucking good. Like, that was a good fucking move that they did with those movies. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's American Pie movies. My new favorite franchise for sure. Like, that franchise, like, if you can keep the main five for the most part together, like, you can make a gold movie. That's for sure. I mean, and give me that feeling of going back to renting videos at a smoky gas station. That's all I really care about you know what I'm saying.
What you ready to get fucked up?
Well, the day this episode comes out, I think that's March 8th, the day this episode comes out, it is Women's History Month. And every Women's History Month, that's what our background's been this entire episode. The fact I didn't mention it, I may have forgot. Anyways, though, so it's Women's History Month. And so the big thing I like to do every Women's History Month is go over horrible women I'm attracted to, and I thought, it's Women's History Day or whatever, Women's Day or whatever. I thought it's time I talk about some women I'm attracted to who are terrible people. Last year, we went over Jodi Arias. We went over Elizabeth Holmes. We went over Casey Anthony. This year, we're just going to go with people who have been quote unquote canceled. Like we're called cancel Schweezy. This is people who have been canceled, and I'm not too for cancel culture unless they really need it, but I don't think people should be canceled over shit they can apologize and do better for, and do a proper apology to and be sorry. Literally be sorry, First woman I want to go over is Amber Heard. Now, Amber Heard, there was one movie, I can't remember what movie I watched. She was, like, nude. At least we got to see her titties. And she's very much forward about, like, I want everyone to look at my titties. And I don't hate it. I'm just saying I don't hate it. Yeah, she did that. There's a sex scene I saw on Reddit or whatever. It's like, she basically finishes with a guy, hits a bowl of weed. I'm fucking, what am I? And goes in for round two. And I'm like, that was pretty cool. She was in Pineapple Express. Like, fucking Seth Rogen was dating her. That was Pineapple Express. It has to be Pineapple Express. 21 Jump Street was my wife, future wife, Brie Larson. So, yeah. That makes sense. Anyways, though, we're talking about Amber Heard, not women who I do love, that some guys hate, but I don't care about those guys. Amber Heard. In the recent year, so the story about Amber Heard. I actually did not write good notes for this segment. But what we know about Amber Heard is that she pretended that Johnny Depp abused her, but it turns out she was fucking violent with Johnny. It's probably a little vice versa. Now, in my mind, I don't like the idea of like their careers being ruined because of this, because in the most part, their sex life needed to be good unless one of them was really bad. Turns out Amber was like physically abusing Johnny. And, it's weird when a woman tries to abuse you because you're like, I can defend myself and I can be fine. I'll just defending myself. But like if she comes at me with a fucking sword, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, it's like when a woman tries to attack you, and the most part, like most men are like, oh yeah, this chick who you're with, and she gets mad at you and she tries to hit you. The reason why she hits you is because she knows she's not that strong and stuff like that. But like when you could actually get harmed, it's it's bad fucking shit. Like she like broke his fingers and shit like that, and he plays guitar, which like I think it explains why Johnny Depp's so shit at guitar. Did I say that? Yes, I fucking did. It's Amber Heard. And for the most part, like, do any of these people deserve careers? I think they both should be. I actually think both of them should be cleared for being good people, or for just cleared and forget about this nonsense. I think that lawsuit will like Amber tried to ruin Johnny's career. That's pretty bad when she was just violently attacking him and shit like that. Like that's the thing. I think about careers more than like reputation, and I think about the reputation ruining the career. Hope that makes sense. But anyways, though, I think for the most part that Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, they had the kind of sex that was really good when you're really angry at each other. That's how they made it work. That's how it is. Like, they're both wrong in that situation, but like the fact that they were angry with each other had to make that really fucking good, dude. It had to make that shit better for the most part. Yeah. Okay. Another woman we have here is Lea Michele. Lea Michele is, I think, is very attractive. I'm into that. I'm into what I see. I'm into what I see with her. And she's probably just kept herself pretty healthy. I'm not trying to body shame anyone here. But no, like I'm into Lea Michele, dude. And she is a horrible person. Like, she is legit a terrible person. And like someone's like, how are you attracted to her? I'm like, I don't know. My dick thinks for itself. That's all it is. So, we talked about, can Lea Michele read? And like that's been a rumor that she can't. And some people have come forward like, I think she can. Some people are like, I think she can't. And some people are like dead secret on that. Which there's a weird why we can't like actually fucking make it known. A little weird. But I'm not one to judge. I am just someone who talks shit on the internet. That's all I am. So here's a list of shitty things that Lea Michele done. I actually had to write this down because it was actually that important that we figure out, like, why is Lea Michele such a fucking shitty person? So first of all, she had a black co-star, which if you've watched the show Glee, I've watched a couple of those seasons when they aired, not recently. We could do a Glee documentary on the show, but Lea decided to make a lot of racist microaggressions, and usually, and the fact that I say she made racist microaggressions to black co-stars, and I've used the word microaggression mainly as a joke until this very specific moment, has to say a lot of things that she's a little racist. She's Jewish. And you're like, I can't be racist if I'm Jewish. I'm like, you can still be fucking racist if you're Jewish. Like, there's a lot of racist Jews out there. Trust me on that one. So, I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago when Glee. I watched the Glee documentary on Discovery Plus, where you get lowbrow content. Where like after Corey Monteith like overdosed. allegedly overdosed and died. There is still a conspiracy that's probably not true, but that she, like, you know, clearly, like, this is actually a fact that the choices were take a hiatus, cancel the show, or get right back into it as scheduled. And Leah Michelle was the one able to be like, let's go back to it as scheduled, because she wanted to milk fucking Corey Monteith's death for attention. And that's pretty fucking shitty. So, Leah Michelle, you are a shitty person. We also have one more. When people were like calling her out for her fucking shitty behavior, and like when they were calling out for her, Leah Michelle can't read, which I think she probably can. I'm down for the joke. I'm gonna follow the joke forever. But realistically, in my mind, like, she probably can read. How well can she read? Like, you'd be surprised how bad Americans can read these days. Like, there's a lot of Americans who cannot read well. And, you know, Leah Michelle can be there. I think she can read, though. You're like, you could, you know, I knew a guy who, you know, he didn't have all his parts there, if you know what I'm saying, but he was still able to drive a golf cart, you know, around. This is when I lived in Kansas, you know, and, you know, he wasn't very good at reading, but he was like, I understand the stop sign, and, like, you know, some of the other signs, a couple other signs too, to drive a golf cart around town, so it wasn't a big deal. So we're moving on from that. But anyways, though, Leah Michelle can read. Leah Michelle can read. Probably not that good, though. She's probably not that good at it, but she probably can't read. Dude, if you're like a child actor, I'm like, you probably can't read. Like, if you think about a lot of child actors, they probably cannot read very well. We're just going to be serious about that. Child actors cannot read. Our third and final woman of the thumbnail is going to say, like, 4, because your mom's always going to be a choice. But the third one I wanted to choose this year for my horrible women who I'm attracted to, Jamie Lynn Spears. Now, I'm not attracted to her as I was. So here's the thing. When Zoe 101 was a show on television, Jamie Lynn is like 2 or 3 years older than me, probably, and shit like that. When I watched that show, like, I was in love. And not only is any woman on Zoe 101, I was in love with. Like, that shit. Those women were so good. And then, like, you watch that show and I'm like, those are women who have not, in my mind, grown boobs yet. And, like, you know, but, like, as a kid, though, you're like, oh, I fucking love those ladies, you know? Like, you know, Hannah Montana was there, too. If you watch old episodes, you're like, you just had to be at the age where it was attractive, okay, man? You know? Like, you know, you just had to be there and shit like that. It's like, would you do her now or do her then or now? I'm like, I'll do it now. You know, I'm not going there. But yeah, no, I love Zoe 101. But, you know, in the recently, I think, didn't Britney try to get out? Britney Spears, Jamie Lynn Spears' older sister, had a conservatorship. And I did barely any research on this. And so she got out of that conservatorship. But Jamie was like, oh, I have some fucking salty news that you may want to know. Oh, no, not salty news, but she had some tea, and the tea was nothing. And it was like she tried to get famous from what Britney was going through, which I don't talk about the Britney conservatorship because Britney Spears is not mentally good. And I'm not a doctor, and I'm just not gonna, you know, like, when you feel bad, this show's supposed to be funny, and when you feel bad, I don't want to watch this show. Like, you know, you feel bad, or like, oh, the way you feel bad that's not the feel bad I want you to come away with this show. Anyways, though, but she tried to milk that shit. She wrote a book and shit like that, but, like, she's basically like a mom. I guess she's returning for Zoe 101 reunion. She is going to, I think she was in something else. I follow her on Instagram. I think I got in before, like, she got, like, shit on the internet, because she got a lot of shit for the whole Britney shit. Like, she used to post pictures of her kid, and then she, like, did not show their faces for a while, and now she's showing, like, her kids' faces again. You know, I wouldn't take that many pictures of my kids. Well, I think she does it fine, like, the way she posts on Instagram, you know. Like, you know, some people are like, oh, they're not trying to be famous or whatever. And then you see some people are like, you need to stop posting this much fucking shit about your child. Like, that's fucking gross. You know. Anyways, though, so, yeah, those are horrible women. that I'm attracted to 2023 edition. Leave us a comment about what women you're attracted to who are the worst human beings to ever exist. Because every gender can be horrible. It's not just for men and women. Okay? We're going to have a non-binary month soon, probably. So, we're ready to celebrate that month on this podcast. Have you ever cracked open a cold one with the boys? The vibes are on, then all of a sudden, you are out of cold ones? Though the vibes are still on, the vibes will soon go off because you are out of cold ones. There's no need to drive when you're under the vibes. That's why today's sponsor, Drizly, is here to make sure that the vibes continue. Drizly gets all your favorite beer, seltzer, wine, whiskey, and much more delivered directly to your home. With their easy-to-use mobile app, we are getting one step closer to never leaving our homes. You know it's saying something when it's being praised as the Amazon for liquor. Drizly is my go-to app for getting all the booze I need so I can do other things. So using our link in the description today, you can save $5 off your first purchase through Drizly. Drizly has proprietary ID verification technology that it provides to its retail partners that allows drivers to scan IDs for more than a barcode to make sure the purchaser is over 21 years old in the US and of legal drinking age in Canada. Retailers on Drizly may have a minimum order or delivery fee. So using our link in the description, get $5 off your first order with Drizly. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show. You're not a boomer who still goes to what our ancient civilizations called a store. You buy everything on the internet like a modern individual. What if I could tell you that you could be saving more on your purchases by only making a few clicks on your computer? That's where today's sponsor, Honey, will change your life. Honey is a free browser extension you can download using the link in our description of this episode. Honey searches the entire internet for promo code, coupon codes, free shipping, and anything else that will save you money when buying things online. It is 100% free, and at no point will you have to pay for it with all of those many microtransactions. It's as simple as pressing a single button and you can start saving money. Not using Honey is basically throwing money away that could be saved for more important things. I recently had to get business cards for myself, and Honey literally saved me 60% on a pack of 500 business cards. It was amazing. Add the Honey extension to your browser today for free by using the link in our description of this episode. And when you use our links, you directly support this show.
Oh no! Our table!
So it's time for Oh No, Our Table, the part of the episode where I go ahead and answer questions. Just, any question, whether they're big or small. All questions deserve life. All questions deserve hope. All questions deserve peace and patience and kindness and goodness and self-care. It's not self-care, it's self-control. God damn it. God. I was quoting the fruit of the goddamn fucking spirits here. I'm just going to Google the fruit of the spirits. Fruit of the spirit. Okay, so the fruit of the spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. The fruit of the spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Okay. Against such things there is no God. Okay, so I did remember the verse, but I almost changed love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness. I almost replaced gentleness with gentleness. Oh no, I almost replaced faithfulness with self-care. I can't remember. I almost probably spelled with self-care. But we're into Ask Schweezy, the part I'm going to answer some questions. So let's get back to the soundboard, as our boy Phil DeFranco would say.
Let's just jump into it.
Let's start this episode off with just the most riveting questions I'd have. Am I gay?
What?
So I've never been attracted to other men. I recently got curious and sucked someone's dick because they offered. I loved it. Someone's offering, I'll let you suck my fucking dick. Maybe a little bit too much. But I have never been attracted to a man's looks. I've never looked at one and thought, wow, he's hot. I'm purely interested in sucking dick. Every other part of me likes women, and I only want to date women. I enjoy having sex with females too, and that's almost always what I crave. But for some reason, every couple of months or so, I'll get this extreme urge to suck one. And then the urge will be gone the next day. Does that make me gay or bi? I want to say that sexual attraction or sexuality is like the actual word, right? I want to say that that's a spectrum, like a rainbow, like the rainbow things, you know. I think sexuality, and that makes a lot of sense to me. The sexuality is a spectrum because, like, we're all into weird fucking shit. The thing is, we got to keep that to ourselves. So thank you for keeping that shit to yourself about how you sucked another dude's dick. Does that make you gay? Okay, so I do think there is something here. Fellas out there, you gotta start looking at some trans porn. I'm telling you, you gotta look at some trans porn, like the chick with the dick. Like, make sure you're hot and attracted to her, but like, fellas, you can get off to trans porn. But there's like one thing though, like a trans chick making a guy suck his dick, and like, I'm not into that, you know, but like when the guy has sex with her, you know, like that makes sense, you know? So like, I think there's something about how you're, long story short, I just want to say, you know, you like sucking dick, but you don't like men. I'm going to tell you something. There are a lot of trans women out there, a lot of trans women who are women, and I will 100% say they're women because I 100% believe that, like, if you're like, oh, I am X gender, and you're putting in the effort to be X gender, then I'm gonna say you're X gender regardless of private parts. That's how I live my life. You're gonna love trans women because it's like you're fucking a woman, but they have a penis and shit like that. And, you know, and I think it is hard for people, you know, sexuality, and you're like, I'm attracted to her, but she has a penis. And the penis is kind of a deal breaker to me. You know, and it's hard. And like, that's sexuality. You're like, I'll be attracted to a trans woman, but like, you want to be fucking them all the time, you know, and be in a serious relationship. It's a hard discovery to get through. It's hard for us to think. So I think you're going to have a lot of luck in trans women, I want to say. Do I think you're gay? No. I don't think you're gay because, like, as a doctor I talked about on the show forever ago, your sexuality is so much more than just, like, what you want to have sex with. There's, like, a physical, emotional, et cetera shit that goes involved with that. And so, like, you got to be aware of that shit before you can even really go any farther from there. So, what do I think your sexuality is? Well, you want to fuck women, but you want to suck dick. So, there's some women. There's a lot of women out there with dicks who are aimed for you. You got to find the women with dicks. And I think your life will be better.
I like that.
With that. As a woman, how can I make myself enjoy giving a BJ? BJ, I'm assuming, is short for blowjob. I really love the idea of blowing my boyfriend, but when it comes to actually doing it, I feel repulsed. How can I overcome this? So, if you're repulsed from, like, the gagging, look, ladies, I do want to say, though, like, you know, I don't think women should have to do everything you see in porn. You know, I would never say that. Like, if a woman doesn't want to get butt fucked, she doesn't have to get butt fucked. However, though, ladies, you need to be giving blowjobs. Okay, ladies? You gotta be sucking dick. Okay? And fellas, you know, people are thinking like, that's very sexist. Fellas, you gotta be eating her out. You gotta be eating that shit. You gotta get an eating disorder where you eat as much as possible, and what you cannot stop eating is her pussy. I'm just saying.
This is the type of guy you get.
Okay? We got to be giving oral sex more. I think that's just, as a society, like, we need to be giving oral sex more. That's just me. But you're wanting to know that. So, first of all, You're a little repulsed by this. You have a boyfriend. I don't know the situation. Like, is this your first relationship? Are you in your 20s and you've just not sucked a lot of dicks, which is kind of worrying, you know? You know, the older you get, you're like, you got to be more experienced. We got to be experienced, you know? So I'm just, you know, I'm thinking about that shit. How to enjoy, like, are you experiencing it or do you give a lot and you're like, I hate this. I hate it. First of all, let's think of the things the penis haver can change. So, like, is it dirty? Does it smell bad? Does it taste bad? And shit like that, you know? And if that's the situation, we just gotta, you know, figure out a cleaning and hygiene, mentalizing thing like that. So if it's the taste of it all, you know, the taste of it all, usually, like, eat, you know, like licking skin and shit like that, you know, it's not that big of a deal for me unless it, like, smells bad or tastes bad, you know, like, and then, you know, if it tastes bad, there's probably some hygiene you can fix. When it comes to the semen, I get it. Like, you know, you're sucking dick. Some women like it, you know, they like to swallow it because it's like a reward earned from your good work. And you are the real hero. Like, we're talking about the, you know, like, we're like, thank you for your service to, like, everyone in the military. But for, like, the women who swallow, like, the guys in the military will, like, bend a knee to you. Because, like, you are the best women to exist on this planet. And I've met a couple, and I'm like, they're the coolest people. Like, you know, like, you can be like, that woman's a slut. I'm like, does she swallow? She's like, yes. I'm like, she's pretty fucking cool, you know? And shit like that. But, like, sometimes guys' semen taste bad. So, if, like, you hate the whole idea of a BJ because of the semen part, you know, a diet actually does affect semen. And I was like, I just Googled one day, like, what makes semen taste good? Because, like, it's a true fact. Like, your diet actually affects, like, the flavor of your semen. You know, there's always thing like chug a ton of pineapple juice. And you know what? You know, here's the thing though. Like, have you ever chugged pineapple juice and then your date's like, sorry, but I'm gonna have to cancel on you? Like, that is the worst thing our society does. Is like someone drank a gallon of pineapple juice and their date canceled. Like, it makes, for some reason, it makes that part taste better. I don't get why, but it does. But yeah, your diet does. And I looked at my diet and I'm like, yeah, my semen is not going to taste that good. But we're not getting into me. We're talking about other people's problems. So if it's that, change their diet for this. If it's the semen problem, but if it's the actual sucking, gagging, figure it out because that's going to help you feel better. Should I continue with no FAP? I've been doing no FAP for 5 days straight. I did no FAP for a month once. Okay. So you've been like stopping the whole FAP, your FAP. We'll see if we can make this an actual clip, you know, and people were like, this is inappropriate. We're going to try that. So you're talking about your fapping and your shit like that. So you haven't fapped for 5 days. You haven't fapped for a month. So I'm in the mindset. So I tried November. Very much was the highlight. And I'm like, do I give too much of my personal life away to people? And it's like, you know what? I'm built different. So I don't give a fuck about what you think.
That's rough, buddy.
But yeah, so no FAP. So I think the idea of like, oh, you're really horny and like you're really kind of on an edge or whatever, I'm like, jerk off, like get it out of your system and then you'll feel better. I'm like, I 100% believe that. But then you have people who are like, who masturbate way too much, shit like that. And it's probably not, you know, I think most people probably jerk off normally, but there's some people who are like, you know, I can't get hard to porn anymore. I jerked off so much that, that doesn't work. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, I'm not talking to those people. But there is something, so I do think that, like, there is a yin and a yang to jerking off. And here's the best advice I always give, like, if I had a child right now, which I will be telling to friends with kids who are teenagers, I'm like, I'm going to be giving them this fucking talk. You know, jerking off is a good thing, you know? See, you know, because I'm a very big believer that, like, semen and cum in your body is a poison, and men need to get it out. So I think as a man, it's like, we got to get out our poison. We got to, it's like poop. Like, you wouldn't hold in your poops, would you? No, you're going to release it. I think that's the same thing with cum in all of our bodies. So I think, yeah, we do need to release. Now, some guys are like, yeah, I don't feel need to jerk off. I don't feel like I need to do that. And then, they like nocturnal ejaculations, which are real and are not fun. And that's why I don't sleep in just underwear anymore. Because if I sleep in just underwear and like I'm gonna fucking jizz my just fucking underwear, I don't want to have to fucking clean my sheets the next day and shit like that. So like, it does happen. So some guys are like that. If you can get by with the nocturnal shit and like, get by in between, and then have sex when you can, it's a good thing. But most guys, we need to come a lot.
Come on, Mark, don't be stingy.
So, we gotta we gotta do that. And so, I think, jerk off, there's yin and yang. It's like, I think I take it a lot like, how we take like how painkillers should be used. It's like, okay, you had a bad surgery and, you're going to be in a lot of pain. So like, yeah, these hardcore painkillers should help you. But like, we're not going to give you like a bottle, like 30 of them where you pop every hour. We're going to give you like a bottle, like 6 or 7 or whatever. And they're like, when you're like feeling very bad, you take one and then it helps you feel better. And then after a few days, eventually you'll feel better and shit like that. That's how painkillers should be used. But then we just subscribe them for like everything, And unless you have alcohol with it, it's not a fun addiction. I'm telling you, folks, you're just like angry for no reason. So yeah, I think jerking off. So, you got to treat it like, oh, if I'm in real pain or I'm like, oh, God damn, I need to jerk off. That's when you nut. That's when you got to do it. That's when you use the strategy to your advantage and shit like that. And just be respectful of women. Okay. So, only fap if you really need to, and don't make it your whole life. Don't just stop jerking off, fellas. I don't know. If an adult woman has her bed covered in stuffed animals, what does it say about her?
What?
Okay, so an adult. Okay, so this is like, if you're looking for serious advice, this is not the answer. Like, this is not where you're coming for this. For fucking animals. Okay. In my experience, in my humbled words, I would love to give to all of you. I'm going to tell you. It's going to be the best fucking sex of your life. I'm telling you. If her bed's covered, the more stuffed animals, it's going to be the best sex of your entire life. But however, I do have to say though, just because it's the best sex of your entire, most people, it's going to be the best feeling sex of your entire life. But the actual best sex, I actually do. I'm a very big believer in, like, with sex, it's like, you need to be doing it a lot with one specific person. Like, that's how you become, like, really good at sex. Because it's just, like, one person, a lot. And so, in the minds of how many times have you had sex? You see, people are like, I've had 24 partners. I've only had one. But if you count the numbers of how many times, it's usually, like, the person who's been with someone, who's very serious with someone. That's always, like, it should be the bigger number. Shit like that. And, it's like the consistency, and like the amount of practice you've had with one person always makes it, because like every person's different, but every person's also very similar at the same time. That's how it is. So yeah, I'm telling you that right now, her bed is covered with stuffed animals. It's going to be the best goddamn sex of your life. If she makes you memorize their names and have a conversation with the animals, it's going to be the greatest thing of your life. And you're like, I'm settling down. I'm with a woman now. And I like my life good. What was the best sexual experience of your life? It was with this woman who had stuffed animals over her bed. It's going to be her. It's not going to be your wife. It's going to be her. But she's not wife material, but it's going to be the best sexual experience of your life. Life's a dirty game. We got to play dirty to win it.
I identify as a fucking threat.
What is your pettiest deal breaker? Okay, so, I'm like almost 30 and I'm not married, and I was into the Christian thing where with Christians, it's like get married immediately so you can have sex, because normal relationships are like, okay, you're serious with each other, like you're in that serious part, and then like you start having sex, and shit like that. But Christians are like, you get serious and then you get married and then you have sex, which is not good. So, you have to deal with that shit and everything. So like pettiest deal breakers is pretty low for me. I wrote down 3 things I do believe that I would actually keep as a deal breaker. And I don't necessarily feel like I want to change those feelings. So first one I have is armpit hair. If you have armpit hair, ladies, that's a deal breaker. Go fuck yourselves. If you have armpit hair and you're alone and you wonder why you're alone, that's the reason why. Shave your body hair. And before I get into anything, like I don't mind a bush, but I believe that we should all like groom ourselves, And so it's like, oh, a woman's going to put her mouth on it. I'm going to shave all those pubes off, But she wants a little on top so she doesn't feel like she's fucking a tiny child. It's good. And, like women, like, we like them clean shaved, but like if you're going to fuck a midget, you're not going to want her clean shaved. I'm just telling you that right now. But armpit hair, and she's like, I hate the beauty standards. Why don't men have to shave their armpit hair? I'm like, I will, if a woman's like, I'm not going to shave my armpit hair unless you shave your armpit hair, I will. And I have shaved my armpit hair. I'm like, I don't really like that shit at all. I feel like it makes me more smelly, and I'm not cleaning that area very well if I have hair on it. So armpit hair, leg hair is also there too, but like she's going to have armpit hair before leg hair. And it's just like, it's one thing to say like, oh, hey, I'm kind of going through a dry spell. I'm not really fucking anyone right now. I'm just going to let my leg hair grow out for the ladies, saying that. Like, that's fine. But it's like, oh, I 100% know I'm going to fuck someone tonight. Nah, I won't shave my armpits or my legs. I'm like, shave that shit. The man's going to shave his pubes probably. A good man is going to shave his pubes. Philips Norelco one blade, body, face and body. Hopefully it's going to sponsor this show too soon. For real though. That's still armpit hairs, yeah. Astrology is another thing. That's a weird thing for me. It's because I've dated a couple women who used astrology to be an excuse for the bullshit and the dumb shit they've done. And so it's just like, oh, this is a shitty person who's going to make an excuse for for their shitty behavior. And that's why they use astrology. And so I don't want to like fully hate on astrology, because you're like, if you want to try to prove it's real to me, go for it. But like at the same time, I'm like, oh, you're using astrology. I'm like, I'm a Scorpio. Like, I'm sorry I can't cheat on you. I'm like, shut the fuck, shit like that. So I hate astrology, and I've just been burned too many times on astrology bitches. And so we can't go really far from there. The last one I wrote no eyebrows. That's a very new trend. My heart cries because Doja Cat just fucking shaved her eyebrows and has just been like drawing them on with like maybe a Crayola marker ever since. And I'm like, I thought Doja Cat is so fucking hot. Like, dude, my dream right now is be like, Doja Cat is going to suffocate me with her thighs and kill me. Like, that's my dream. And she shaved her eyebrows. I'm like, ugh. Like, she's hot, but you're like, the eyebrows, And like chicks are shaving off their eyebrows and like drawing them on or making them look fucking stupid. Leave your goddamn eyebrows alone. Like, I'm, separate but equal. The way I hate schools but love eyebrows. Like, pluck out the parts in the middle. I pluck them out. I'm a real man. I pluck out my eyebrows. But like, you just shave your eyebrows off. I'm like, fuck you. You have fucking mental health problems, and I'm not here for it. So. Is it morally wrong to break up with your girlfriend if she never wants to have sex with you? She can never be in the mood to have sex with you. Have you ever had sex with? First of all, I do want to know if age is a good thing. I don't know your age, so if you're like younger and she's like, she doesn't want to have sex with me, I'm like, yeah, she probably hasn't had sex ever before, and she's figuring that shit out, And I'm like, ladies, it's okay to have sex. Men, it's okay to have sex, Do it, just do it protected. Be smart about it. But like, no, if we're talking about like a serious relationship and like your partner's like, I don't want to have sex with you anymore. And it's like, yeah, I think there is something to like relationships and marriage, and I will talk marriages too. Why I feel like sex is a very important thing, because I've had, like being a husband and wife is a lot closer than being like best buds with someone, even if like you've been roommates forever, and shit like that. So there's like a difference between roommates and like a spouse, because like if a roommate does something annoy you, you talk to them about it, you be mad for a while, someone fixes their shit and like you do better, like shit like that. So and then the friendships resolve from there. But with marriages and shit like that, when you get into arguments, I don't know what arguments married people get into, but like at the same time they get into it and it's like, oh, there's no solution to it, and we're like, I don't want to have sex with you right now, and then you have you cheat and shit like that. But I don't know. But like when you get mad at someone and then you have sex with them and it's like, oh, this is better now, shit like that. I think there is something to making a situation better, like as like like having a partner you're having sex with, like that's why like a lot of people are like, I'd rather live with a wife than a roommate, because when you have like beef with a roommate, you have to actually solve those problems, as people and try to be good people and and shit like that. But when it's marriage, it's like, if I can get my dick sucked right now, I think that problem will be resolved, and that's as a single guy talking about like why relationships are good, I think that's that's why, I think that's a good reason why, and a good reason why people should move forward with that shit. So last question we got here. Do religious people believe, as in they 100% know for sure there is a God, or is it more of a hope / assumption? Okay, so quick thing for the non-consistent listeners. I grew up in church. I studied the Bible. I've read it forward and backwards a couple times. I've had to have at least. I didn't keep track. So I understand that, but I'm not into that shit anymore, but they do believe 100%. So we're talking about faith here, and that's the thing here. No matter how much faith you have in something, and no matter how much you believe in it, I know people who believe in God 100% and shit like that. Faith is never 100%, and I want to say that it's a good thing and a bad thing, because I know there's probably some Christians listening to this show, and I'm like, yeah, be Christian, listen to the show, just don't be a piece of fucking shit. Don't be a shit human being. But yeah, faith, the idea of faith cannot be 100% at all. And I like to believe there is a God. Like, if we're going to talk about my current beliefs or whatever, what I want to believe is I want to believe there's a God who's looking out for all of us and it's all good and shit like that. I don't want to believe in that, like, that God that, like, killed millions of people. I want to believe God is good, send Jesus because it's good, and, like, I want to believe hell doesn't exist because something that bad, like, God would be able to destroy immediately and shit like that. I want to believe that my general belief of what I want to believe is that when we all die, we all go to heaven, we're stripped of the shitty parts of our personalities and who we are, and like are made new, and we all go to heaven and we're all better people and shit like that. That's what I want to believe. But yeah, if you're going on the belief of faith is never 100%. Faith can never be a 100% thing. As someone who kind of wishes it was, and shit like that. It just, faith is not 100%, because as I wrote down in my notes, if someone 100% knew for sure, it wouldn't be faith, it would be knowledge. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And basically I always want to say, Like, I don't identify as Christian anymore. I just, like, don't want to be associated with those people and anything they do, but, like, I want, and this is just saying I want, not saying I believe, like, I want to believe in, like, a God who's, like, all good, and it's like, when we all die, we all go to heaven, and we're all stripped away of our impurities and shit like that. Like, that's what I want to believe, but what's actually real? I'm like, I'm always going to remain on the I don't know scale of things, and on the I don't know of how we should move forward if this is our main priority of, like, who we are as people. But anyways, though, that's how we're ending today's episode of Cancel Schweezy. Thank you so much for checking out this episode of Cancel Schweezy, better known as the Lord's trademark favorite podcast. Thank you so much. You actually fucking listened to at the end, and that's pretty fucking exciting. Follow me on social media at TheSchweezy, my music under Schweezy, wherever you stream music. You know where you stream music. I'm there. That's where you need to stream music. Make sure you're checking out me, twitch.tv/TheSchweezy. Make sure you're subscribed with your Amazon Prime account to the channel to make sure we're financially supporting the show without spending any extra money. But if you do want to spend money, check out the Patreon page where it's just a tip jar, and it's really a great way to help us out and really support what we do. If you're on the audio-only platforms, make sure to check out our YouTube pages, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you share our highlights and other things with all your friends, and leave a comment so we know that you like the show, and we can have good discussions. And audio-only platforms, leave a review and give a 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1-star rating. So honk if you love butt drugs, and stay awesome. Believe it or not, Schweg isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep. I must be out, or I'd pick up the phone. Where could I be? Believe it or not, I'm not home. You just finished a full episode of Cancel Schweezy. You are now one of the smartest individuals who will ever exist in our world. If you like that episode, make sure you subscribe. Whether you're watching this show or listening to the show, make sure you subscribe. That way you get notified whenever we release full new episodes as well. And if you're on YouTube, smash that bell button. That way you get notified anytime we make a post over here on YouTube. Honk if you love butt drugs, and yeah, stay awesome.